has been slipping you our mail. Come on out here, you bad girl.
I was rewatching the Mission Impossible series last week, and specifically the second installment, and it occurred to me that if the movie was released in the current climate of American battleground of modern ideological overanalysis, it would have been shredded to death. Let's start from the beginning. Ethan Hunt's opening free solo rock climb scene. No harness, no rope, no fear, just sinew, sweat, and the American sun bouncing off the sandstone like a patriotic lens flare. He's supposedly on vacation. A helicopter later arrives and fires a missile at him, which turns out to contain his sunglasses and his next mission briefing. He listens, throws the shades away toward the camera, and they explode. The scene is ridiculous, quite alright. But in modern America, ridiculous is no longer enough. It must be analyzed. The first person who we find is problematic will be Emily Clinton, the liberal arts feminist scholar on Twitter.
This scene is a manifesto of toxic masculinity and toxic verticality. Ethan Hunt's body is performing dominance over nature, which is patriarchy. It mirrors patriarchy's historical mastery of the feminine landscape. The cliff is coded female. It is silent, passive, eroded, while Hunt penetrates it with his bare fingers. This is a metaphor for how male agency reproduces through destruction.
And just before responding to that, you will see a conservative take that will review the scene as American masculinity, when America made real men, back before Hollywood went soft with pronouns and participation trophies. No CGI, no safe spaces, just a man, a mountain, and God's clean air. That feminists will call this toxic masculinity, but it is not. It is duty. It is a man conquering his own weakness by dominating nature. That Gen Z can't relate. Praise Donald Trump, praise Charlie Kirk. And just while you are trying to understand that, Emily comes back and say,
notice who isn't on that mountain. No women, no people of color, no disabled climbers, no gay people, no pansexual, no biracial, just another straight white man receiving a secret assignment from a missile. Representation should matter even in fictional vacations.
And I swear to God, there will be a people of color American on Twitter who will find the scene problematic because it's a metaphor for whiteness at altitude. Now this is how whiteness and white people imagine that gravity never applies to them. That we should all observe how the landscape is red, because red earth is a symbol for the displacement of Native Americans. Therefore, Tom Cruise's character is climbing through history and exerting white supremacy by stepping on erased narratives. But you know what would give people the greatest headache? This character, Naya. She's the only black woman in the movie. She's a thief, a jewel thief, a seductress, and she's not recruited because of her brilliance or training in espionage, but because she used to date the villain. Can you imagine the video essays that will be created just to criticize her character? First of all, we have the feminist critic who will tell us that Naya's entire role is emotional labor. That she only exists in the movie to suffer so the men can have moral tension. That she's sexualized by both sides. That when she injects herself with the virus is the ultimate metaphor for how women internalize male violence. That when she becomes the set of contagion, of guilt, of care, her body stands for all the bodies of the women in the world who have to risk violence for men to discover their humanity. Misogyny and male gaze. Then black Americans on Twitter will be like, why is the only black woman in this movie a thief? Why is she depicted as a thief and not a scientist? In a global biocrisis, the only black woman in this movie is both a criminal and collateral damage. When Hollywood start depicting black women as positive role models, this is misogyny. And I'm sure there will always be someone who will make a connection to sexual assault. They will be like, am I the only one who thinks that consent is missing at every level of this movie? So Naya is recruited without genuine agency, used as a bait, then expected to die gracefully. The entire mission depends on exploiting her sex life and her love life. If that is not a metaphor for how patriarchy handles female labor, what is? Also, her entire life in the movie is for the male gaze. That is why her pain is depicted as romantic, her tears cinematic, her infection eroticized. Even when she's dying, she's glowing. Why is she glowing? Male gaze. She's glowing for the male gaze. Also, can someone observe that eventually she ends with the main character, which is a white man? So she's a black woman who slept with 2 white men in the space of 2 weeks. When will Hollywood stop depicting black women as prostitutes and hoes? When will black women's bodies stop being a contest between toxic white males? We need a story written of a black woman who will not be saved by a white savior. This is male gaze. This is patriarchy. This is misogyny. This is misogyny.
You know, of course, that diamonds are a girl's best friend. And this is our proof of it.
Dear Americans, honestly, I get it. I understand. You didn't wake up one day and decide to distrust Hollywood. It was earned. For decades, Hollywood built a world where they taught you who was beautiful, who was dangerous, who got to be saved, and who doesn't. They shaped desire, they shaped fear, and they shaped the quiet rules of who mattered. You grew up watching people who look like you become heroes and people who didn't look like you become warnings. So of course it makes sense that you started to question this. You began to look closer to wonder what stories were being told and who was doing the telling. Some would argue that this is a vigilance born of paranoia. Maybe, but I also acknowledge the pain. But somewhere along the line, something broke. A car chase stopped being a car chase. It became an essay on late capitalism and intersectional feminism. A kiss turned into an article on gender war. A mountain became a monument to colonial masculinity. You started watching movies like they were term papers. You started grading them for representation, measuring them for moral weight.
Thank you. Gia, you got it. Where you go, Gia? Not only are black women whores in this movie, but they are unfit to lead because literally their vaginas control their brains.
So now every white character is now a symbol of empire. Every black character is now a progress report. No one is allowed to just exist anymore. They have to represent. And so the pendulum swung from why are there no black women in this to black women can only be depicted like this. Can you imagine how you have swung from wanting to be seen to demanding to be sainted? Now, movies are not dreams anymore. They are not inspirations anymore. Instead, they have become courtroom exhibits that we have to probe and probe and probe. Instead of watching movies, you now cross-examine them. You bring your politics, your trauma, your hashtags, your agony, your fantasies, and the story is guilty until proven inclusive. But this is what no one wants to admit. You are not making movies moral. You're not making them better. You're making them more nervous. Every character now walks on eggshells. Every joke comes with a waiver. Even the camera looks afraid to look too long. And somewhere in all that noise, the magic has died. That silence before the first frame, that small surrender when you forget who you are, is all gone. You used to go to the movies just for the fun of it. Now we audit the shit out of it and ourselves. So maybe it's time to stop using movies as a fetish playground for the fantasies we can't say out loud, our revenge fantasies, our guilt fantasies, our longing to be the good ones. Because a white person in a movie is not you. A black person in a movie is not you. They are moving images, for fuck's sake. They are not moral avatars. It is not representation if you see yourself or want to see yourself in every frame. That's projection. Go see a fucking therapist. The way back is simple. Sit down, let the lights dim, and when the movie begins, stop asking what it says about you or your people. Ask instead what it says to you. Until then, yours in cinematic confusion, Tom.